Hey gang, today this is Pat Dewar. I'm with Dewar TV, and we've got a great show lined up. These are going to be real short. MyInsuranceSucks.com. Mark Roden is the owner of that company, and we're talking about how most people really just don't understand their insurance, health insurance especially, but most of the time it's kind of any insurance. And so we figured, why don't we create a decoder ring for folks like you that are looking for ways to understand and maximize all of your insurance dollars. So if your insurance sucks, you're in the right place. Mark Roden, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so the idea behind this is to give people good education on why their insurance sucks and how they can kind of change that experience. So when we look at some of the things that are going on in insurance today, why do people even need it? What's the kind of big benefit? And not to go into a sales thing, because that's not it. This is really about, insurance is risk mitigation. That's really, I think, what I think it is. But tell me what your thoughts are on this, and how you'd like this show to be a benefit to others.
Well, awesome. Thanks again for having me. And really, the risk mitigation, like you said, is the most important thing. Risk reward, as well as understanding insurance. I came up with that name, My Insurance Sucks, is because on the health insurance side, it was like inevitable. Every time I'd go into an employer and I'd sit down with the actual employees, that was like the first thing out of their mouth. I'd hear it over and over and over again. And many times they were mistaken. They just didn't have an understanding of what insurance should be, what it should cost, and just, again, on health insurance, which is my passion, we help people with anything insurance, but health insurance can be so complicated, and you don't even know if you have something that's good, or you don't even know the value of it. So that's what I try to key on, is just kind of help educate people and understand what they actually have.
So what are some of the reasons that you're finding people are saying my insurance sucks?
Just a complete misunderstanding of what it should cost. Bottom line, I'm Dave Ramsey's ELP in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, and one time I had let's just say an airline pilot call me. I won't say which one, and he wanted an HSA. He had heard Dave Ramsey talk about health savings accounts, and man, he just had to have one. I said, oh, great, how old are you? Go through the regular kind of data intake, and how much are you paying for your current health insurance? He had like a $500 or $250 deductible. He was paying under $100 for his entire family, and I'm like, sir, you have probably about $15,000 a year worth of benefits there. The last thing we need to do is switch your plan. So it's so complicated with PPACA or Obamacare, as most people call it. It's just getting more complicated. If you don't have a counselor, an honest counselor that's giving you information and advice, you're really at a disadvantage.
Well, and then kind of briefly even on Obamacare, you and I did a TV show last year on Obamacare right before it came out.
Yes.
And some of the things that you showed were the discounts that were available for people that had lower income, or maybe the help that was available, and then the lack of it that someone over, say, a family over 100,000 would experience, that they're going to be paying. What I want to get to is the fact that it's coming up for renewals. People are actually coming up for their renewal on their insurance, and a lot of rates are going up, 30-40% last I heard, and I don't do as much in this area as you do at all. So tell me, is that what you're seeing, and if so, what should people be doing right now?
That's an excellent example. Renewal, annual renewal. Okay, right now in Texas, it's August. The teachers, the TRS, all the teachers are having to sign up and make decisions for an entire year. Well, what Obamacare or PPACA does is now everyone will have an annual renewal. It's an open enrollment. So this year it's going to be November 15th through February 15th. So that's when you have to make the changes. The subsidies is what you were talking about, and here's another perfect example of confusion. Hey, my neighbor says he loves Obamacare. He's getting XYZ for 500, a $500 deductible for $25 a month. Well, that person's probably getting subsidies. So from their perspective, they love it. It's cheap. It's affordable. You mentioned the price increase. Absolutely. You might have someone that had a plan that was prior to PPACA coming out, and now it's coming. It hasn't happened yet, but a lot of those older plans are going to have to be changed to conform to all the mandates. So those plans will probably double in price. So it's so complicated. Yes, a normal group guy that's working for whatever IBM, he might see a 10% increase. But back to the teachers, what I'm doing right now, this is very relevant, is I'm sitting down talking to whatever, sharing a screen like we're doing here, and just making sure they know all their options. There's a strategy that I use. I call it slice and dice. My wife's a teacher, okay? Her and the kids are on the TRS plan. I think, I've got 4 kids, so I say 5 belly buttons. 5 belly buttons are on there for under $300. If I was to join it, it's an additional $600. So I can go out to my employer or outside my market, and I'm literally saving $400 a month. I mean, that's it's close to $5,000 a year. That's real money, and that's why I'm just always try to encourage people to stay engaged, get in the process. You don't have to live it and breathe it like I do, but at least know the numbers. It's such a big part of your budget. Why in the world would you not want to be engaged in it?
That's one of the keys, is learning enough to be able to make a good decision. And I know with the background that you have, you've been in insurance a long time. And like I say, you can always go over to the myinsurancesucks.com site, or you can go to mc2health.com if you are looking for like a discount card. But the main thing that we wanted to do today was give you a little insight on the design, the desire of My Insurance Sucks Hangouts, and what we're going to be covering, and how we're going to be trying to give you each week some great information. There's so much that is coming in the way of changes in insurance. I mean, would you agree with that, Mark? I mean, there are things that are just sweeping.
Absolutely. And again, my passion's health insurance. A lot of what we talk about on this program is going to be health insurance related. But I have 5 cars, 5 drivers, and so auto insurance is important to me. If you're not reviewing that every year, taking 10, 15 minutes, asking some good questions, again, just maybe have an understanding what it should cost. I used to do a trick. This plan's no longer available, but when I would sit down, jumping back to health insurance here, when I would sit down with a family, there was a plan that had a $50,000 deductible. And just for giggles, I'd sit down with a family and I'd say, how much do you think that would cost? Maybe there's 2 kids. So 4 people, $50,000 deductible. Oh, I mean, that's $10, $20 a month. No, actually that was like $200, $300, $400 sometimes in the old days, depending on their age. That just shows you when it goes wrong, it can go wrong really big. And people have no understanding that now there's unlimited lifetime benefits. You're literally talking about $1 gazillion. What do you think that should cost? Someone's protecting your family for $1 gazillion. And we all know of a neighbor, a friend, a relative that's had some sort of health challenge. And how many of us, I mean, it happens, and I'm sorry if this is one of you, but how many of us really know someone whose house is burnt down? I mean, maybe 1 or 2, but see what I'm saying as far as the risk mitigation, going back to our original conversation. What are you covering, and what could that cost the carrier if it goes wrong?
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. And again, this is not about selling insurance, about information.
Right.
So if you have questions, connect with Mark. Yes, that's his industry, that's his business, and I'm thankful it is, because I'd rather be working with somebody that can show me what's right, what's difficult, what's going to be painful, and try to lead us to the best decisions. The one thing I'm going to throw out here, just because I think I ought to, is that all this is covered by all the disclaimers that say man, this is a static information site. When you sit there and look at Hangouts, they're great on the interaction, but after the fact, they're going to be on YouTube and they're going to be available for the rest of time, as we know it in technology, that you can check on what we've said. Well, you know what? Tomorrow something could change in the House or the Senate, or a new executive order or something, and stuff changes. So we're just giving the best information we can to try to help you get what you want. Again, visit myinsurancesucks.com to learn a little bit more, maybe to connect to Mark, and then also if you're interested in like a discount card, we'll talk about that in another issue. But it's MC2, the number 2, health.com. Any final words, Mark?
No, that's great. Like you said, we might have to redo that Obamacare show we did a few last year, because a lot has changed. And yeah, just connect with someone. If it's not me or us, connect with someone that you can trust and get good information, and just do your best. It's not going to be perfect. It's always subject to change, but absolutely.
Thanks so much, Mark. And again, we'll talk to you all same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Thanks.